Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddie and I'm so excited that you are here. Today I have a very interesting, random, fun video planned. I have been wanting to film this for quite a long time. This is going to be my third attempt on this book, and the reason I'm filming a video for it is because I actually want to get through it this time. But today we're reading my first full 1,000 page book, which is crazy to even say. And ever since I was introduced to this book and this series, I have been dying to read it and get through all these books. And the book we're going to be reading is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. If you watch my videos, you know that I've been raving non-stop about Brandon Sanderson and his books, and especially his Mistborn series, and just how incredible of an author he is. He is just a genius in every capacity of the word. He is incredible. His fantasy worlds are literally unmatched, and if y'all don't know, this is an adult fantasy series, and currently I think there's like 4 or 5 books or something. 4 books, and then the 5th one comes out in December, so I'm trying to get through this series this semester and get it done, but each book is 1,000 pages, so it's gonna be really hard, and that's why I'm making this video, to make myself read this and get through this, because I have tried twice now. The first time I got to page like 300 something, and then the second time I got to like maybe 100. I just wasn't in the mood for it, and now I am like really in the mood for it. I am so on fire to finish this book. Like, I am so pumped, so excited. And if y'all couldn't tell by my bookmark, I actually started it last night and I'm currently on page 40. And yeah, so basically this video is just going to be a reading vlog of me trying to get through this. Probably struggling a lot, but it's going to be quite a long video over many days. So without further ado, let's just jump in and start reading and start with our first impressions. So far, my first impressions is basically it's a lot of war and it's a lot of politics, which y'all know I love, so I'm really into that so far. I really like reading about war because I never really do it that often in a fantasy series. This is like actual like war, like very similar like formations and like schemes, I guess, like real life. Does that make any sense? Like, it seems very realistic, which I really like, and it's less like magic and more like actual war with like shields and spears and stuff like that. Hello everyone, it's actually the next day. I'm currently on page 132 of The Way of Kings. I have a lot to talk about. I didn't really talk about the first like 100 or so pages because I was really just like deep in the story and trying to figure out what all was going on, how the plot was, you know, expanding, and the characters that I was meeting, and I really just kind of wanted to wait until I kind of knew more what was happening in the book to like talk about it with you guys. I'm also not going to be giving that many updates for this because it is 1,000 pages. I mean, I am going to be giving some updates, but they're going to be spread out so that I don't give like 100 and then y'all get bored of the video and click out. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to keep it pretty bearable. Just like obsessed with this book so far. Like, this is actually one of the best books I've ever read. Mistborn was incredible, but this is like on a different level in terms of world building. And I don't know if I talked about this. I actually don't think I did, but I did not read the back of this book before I started reading it. And I actually didn't do that the first time, the second time, or now, because I really wanted to go into it blind. What I have learned so far is I have met so many characters, and I've basically kind of started to learn the magical rules of this fantasy story. Here's my little sticky note of notes that I kind of wanted to talk about with you guys, and sort of the things that I'm starting to learn. I wanted to write them down so I didn't forget them, but basically the book starts out where a king is murdered by an assassin, and the king is part of a race called the Alethi people, and basically they're sort of like the higher up people, I think. That's kind of what I've discerned so far. And the assassin is a Parshman, which is a lesser people. There's that whole scene, and then it transitions over and we meet Caladan. He is one of the main characters of the beginning of the book so far. I'm in book 1 currently, which is not this entire book, it's a section of the book. He's one of the main characters in like the beginning. So he basically goes and fights in a battle for like his master, and his name is Amaram, and then he actually gets taken from the other side, and then he goes to basically be a slave, go serve the greater war purpose of the Alethi people against the Parshendi. Anyways, but like the magical rule of this world is everything is centered around this magic called Stormlight, and is basically like these little like globes, and they have like light in them, and then if you are able to use that light magically, then it like goes into your body and you're able to like use it. Does that make sense? The assassin was able to use it, and there's like certain different terms for the types of use for that magic. Like for example, lashing is being able to switch like the laws of literal gravity to make yourself fall in a different direction. So yeah, Stormlight is like the main like magic sort of system. And then there's also like soulcasters, which use Stormlight to create things from other objects, or if you're like a very skilled user of soulcasting, then you can actually create things from nothing. That's kind of what I'm learning so far. There's also these little creatures called spren. They're basically like, well, like for example, fear spren come out of the ground when you're feeling anxious or scared, and then wind spren are like literally the spren that make up the wind, and they're like little creatures or like little forms of like mist or energy, but they're really cute and I really like them. But anyways, Kaladin is actually a slave now, and he is serving on a bridge crew, which basically means that he carries and runs with bridges in his crew, and he carries them and places them in the Shattered Plains, is what the battlefield is called, for the bigger war of the Alethi against the Parshendi. And basically he places them down so the army can go across it and go attack the Parshendi peoples. Very complicated, but we're learning about Kaladin right now and his experience with being a member of the bridge crew. Basically it's awful, he is absolutely miserable. And then there's also another main character, her name is Shallan, and she basically is trying to go be a ward for Yasna. I really should look up like the way you're supposed to say these names, because it's definitely like published somewhere. Like I know Brandon Sanderson has definitely like come out with like a way to say all the names. I just haven't looked at it, but basically she's trying to be a ward or like a scholar for the basically like the most intelligent female ever, and she's trying to steal her soulcaster, which has the ability to create things from nothing, to basically replace her father's broken one, to save her family from literally being shunned from society because of the things that have happened to her and her family. It's a lot of politics and a lot of just like a magic system that is confusing. That's kind of what we're learning so far, and I hope this doesn't scare you all away from reading it, because it is literally the most well done fantasy book I've ever read. I am gonna go read, and then I will keep updating you guys throughout the week and as I get farther into the book. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Today is the third day that I'm reading this book, and I'm currently on 2:16. I also have a cough drop in my mouth, so if you can tell that there's something in my mouth, that's what that is. Anyways, but I'm on 2:16 of The Way of Kings. I'm gonna be so honest with you guys, I am stressed. Like actually very stressed, because I'm trying to get through this book, but the rest of this week is an absolute nightmare of things that I have to get done, and it's honestly like kind of making me panic a little bit because I want to get through this, but I am so busy, and this is how much of the way I've made it through, and I would like to add on a lot more to this, let's say that, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. So I'm gonna try my best today, try to get as much done as I can. I'm so tired of being so busy all the time. I wish I had more time. You know, I put this on myself, so I really can't complain. But yeah, so happy Wednesday. I'm gonna keep reading. Just wanted to update you guys. I am so busy and kind of really struggling with school and balancing that and my YouTube channel and life right now. But honestly, let's just get reading. I want to give y'all this little update before I forget. In the beginning, I told you guys that the King Gavilar was murdered by an assassin, and now the new king is King Elhokar, who is his nephew, and now we are introduced to Dalinar, which was Gavilar's brother. He's basically like King Elhokar's like right-hand man, just his main general who is protecting him and making sure that he is safe. My camera was a little bit crooked. So we're learning about Dalinar and then his two sons, which is Adolin and Renarin. Adolin and then Renarin, I think that's how you say their names. I'm pretty sure I'm saying all these names wrong. But basically King Elhokar went on an expedition to go kill a chasm fiend. Okay, I just had to check if what I said was right, but basically yes, they went on a hunt to go hunt down a chasm fiend, which is basically like this big creature whose heart is made of gemstone. So they were just trying to get their spirits up and go and hunt one of them, and then it turns out the creature was actually way bigger and more terrifying than expected. So, and it's basically just this big crazy scene where King Elhokar almost gets killed, and then we also learn throughout all this that Dalinar is actually having visions, basically telling him that he needs needs to unite all of the kingdoms under King Elhokar, and that's the only way that they're going to survive the future events. So everyone thinks that he's going crazy, but he's actually having visions, which could possibly be true. So we're learning about that, and then we're also learning about Kaladin still, which I talked about earlier, and his little spren named Syl. I talked about spren earlier. They're these little translucent creatures, and each different kind is associated with like a different emotion or a different form of element or something of the sort, and she basically is a lot more knowing and a lot more human than any other spren, and we're kind of trying to figure out why that is. So but yeah, there's that little update. I'm gonna keep reading, but I wanted to kind of let you guys know what else I am learning throughout the book. Okay, it is later in the day and I just got 2 Amazon packages in, so I'm gonna open them and give a little book haul because I literally got all books. So first we have the Hawthorne Legacy, which is the 3rd book in, or maybe the 2nd book in the Inheritance Games series. Yes, it is the 2nd book. It's actually kind of defective, so I might get a new one. I might order a new one. Very, very good. I'm excited about that series. And then I also got Throne of Glass, the 2nd technically book in the Throne of Glass series. I'm really, really excited. I just read the Assassin's Blade and I included that in the last video, so very excited to read this one. And then I also got Flawless by Elsie Silver. The printing on this one's a little bit weird. I don't think it's supposed to be cut off like that. One of my friends and I are planning on buddy reading this together, so I'm excited to get into this one. I feel like I need another romance because I just finished all of the romances that I had in my collection, so I wanted to order another one. And then next I got Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series. Technically the 2nd, but it comes 3rd chronologically. And then I also got the Inheritance Games book 1. I've heard so many good things. I have seen a lot of people talk about this recently specifically, so oh my god! Oh my god, no way. Oh my god, they sent me everything twice. Okay, this is crazy. They sent me every single book twice. That's exciting. I'm gonna go look to see if I got charged twice because that would not be good. But that is my little book haul for the evening. I just want to get on here and film that, even though I do not look the greatest and I just showered. But I will catch up with you guys tomorrow when I keep reading the book I'm currently reading, and I'll give y'all some more updates. Hello everyone, happy Thursday. I'm currently on 368. I don't have a lot of updates for you guys. We're kind of just learning more about the visions that Dalinar is having that I talked about yesterday. We actually got to see one of these visions, and it was more like he was living through somebody in a time that was very, very long ago. There's a saying called the Desolation, and we haven't really learned much about what it is, but basically he's living in this vision and these big scary shadowy creatures are basically trying to kill him, and then these balls of light fall down the sky and they're basically humans who have shard blades and shard plates. I talked about that yesterday. Those are basically people who can use the Stormlight magic and basically are like impenetrable and very overpowered. So they come from the sky and then they save him, and then these visions are basically telling him to unite the high princes in the kingdom, which I also talked about yesterday. I think the high princes are basically like, they're basically men under the king, and they're like higher warriors, and they have a lot more authority than the regular people, and his visions are basically continuing to tell him to unite the high princes. So that is what he is striving to do right now. His son Adolin is very against him, thinks that these visions are not true, not real, and he should really be working against some of these high princes because they are out for him, but he doesn't necessarily believe that. So we're basically going down a path of him and his son fighting a lot about this, and then him trying to unite the princes and either succeeding or not succeeding. So, and the king is also kind of going against him and starting to not trust him. So additionally, Kaladin, he is still on the bridge crew, basically having to carry those bridges like I talked about yesterday, but he is starting to kind of get the bridge members to basically have better attitudes and to start to work together towards a common goal. So yeah, he's basically trying to get their attitudes up and the morale up, and basically starting to work to save some of the bridge members who are wounded and stuff like that. So he's also kind of making friends, which is really crazy to see. That's pretty much all the updates I have. I'm gonna keep reading, and I don't want to give too much away, so I'm not giving away like the tiny details, just trying to give y'all a little bit of a moral of what is happening so far. Hello everyone, it is several days later. Today is now Labor Day. I'm still working on this book. I wasn't able to read over the weekend because my parents were here. We had a football game. We had so many things going on. So today I'm going to try to get through a significant portion of this. I have a lot of homework to do today, but I still want to read some of this as well. So that's what we're going to try to do today, but I'm currently on 410, so I am almost halfway through, but we're getting there. We are making progress, making as much progress as I can. I honestly haven't really learned too much else.
there's just a lot of words that I don't quite understand yet that have to do with this universe, and I have a feeling we're going to learn what those mean in the several coming books, so I don't think I'm going to really learn what all of these terms are in this book yet. But there's also just a lot of past politics that I have a feeling I'm not going to learn about until the next several books. So there's just a lot of history and there are a lot of big events that have occurred that are definitely important that Sanderson has only mentioned like a couple of times, so I don't think we're really supposed to know what they mean yet, so I'm not going to be like looking them up. I'm just gonna continue to go through this blindly, like I said in the past several clips. So yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna keep going. I will give y'all updates, but honestly I'm just gonna keep going. I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but Kaladin basically has found a way to retrieve like antiseptic for the injured men from his bridge crew that he was actually able to save. Him and his new friends are kind of trying to go retrieve that and then help their men and continue to boost morale. He has a plan and he's trying to get him out. I have a feeling that's going to be coming up, so he is getting more punishments, but I think he's trying to get these punishments on purpose to form a plan. I don't really know yet, but I feel like there's a lot I don't know about and a lot that I'm going to be learning, so that's kind of where we're at. But I'm gonna keep going and then I'll give y'all updates. Also, side note, I went and bought new makeup and I'm trying out a new makeup routine, so let me know if it looks good. I have a feeling it looks good on camera, so I might start wearing this for all of my videos, but that's just a random update. But I just like telling y'all the mundane things that are fun. So anyways, let's read. Okay, random update. Dalinar, the last king's brother and the new king's uncle, is starting to lose his thirst for battle, which is called the Thrill, which basically drives his people, which are called the Alethi. So it's basically a really big deal that he is losing that thirst for battle, and the Thrill is what they call it. Every person has a different calling in the Alethi culture, and the most important calling is that of fighting and going to battle and training yourself so that when you die that you can go to the Herald's army and win back the Tranquiline Halls, which is something that you do like in the afterlife. And the Herald's army is not something we really know a lot about. Like I said before, the Alethi people is basically like the king's people, and they are fighting the Parshendi, which are the other group of people. Those are basically the two main groups that we're talking about in this book specifically, but Dalinar and the king and their whole group of people are Alethi. Yeah, basically, so it's a big deal that he's like losing that drive to fight, and people are basically considering him like insane, and he is like losing his mind because of his visions. So it's pretty much a big deal. He's currently kind of trying to figure out whether or not he should drop out and kind of let his son take over for him, Adolin, but he doesn't really know yet, so he's kind of figuring that out. He's also wondering why the shard blades, which are basically those big weapons that are like super overpowered and use Stormlight to kind of power themselves, he's wondering why they're not used for the regular people in their day-to-day tasks like drilling holes in the ground or things like that. He's kind of wondering why that's always been a rule, like they're not used for other things other than battle. So he's asking a lot of questions about their culture, a lot of questions about the texts that he has grown up reading, basically his scripture, and really asking a lot of questions about the Alethi culture. And it's not something that he should be doing, but he's doing it anyways. So he's definitely kind of coming out of this, I guess, way of life that he's lived his entire life, and it's getting pretty significant. So before I forget, a scripture book called The Codes is basically what drove Dalinar's brother Gavilar, the king before the current king. They drove him to madness, and now Dalinar is really acting in favor of them. The book speaks of like a king carrying the burdens of his people, and Dalinar is starting to do that, and it's making him feel very fulfilled. So he's kind of asking why everybody is so against these codes and calling him crazy for reciting the codes and following the codes, and he's wondering why his brother started to discover things before his death and then died very shortly after. So it's getting very interesting, and I'm getting very like, wow, like this is super, it's getting exciting because I'm wondering like what's the significance of them, and should Dalinar be following them? But oh, it's so good. Basically also his delusions are following what the words in the codes are saying, so I'm kind of wondering what this overarching like force in the universe is like doing, where his delusions are coming from, like the Almighty himself, which is basically like their god, or what. So oh, it's getting so interesting. Hello everyone, long time no see. I have not been filming. I'm gonna be so real, it's been so hard to read and I'm just kind of really struggling. I'm currently on 576, so I have like 400 something more pages to go, which is a lot, so I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get this video out, honestly, but I'm gonna try to read right now. Definitely struggling, but I'm gonna keep going today. I'm sorry I haven't been able to talk with you guys. It's been a while since I filmed, but some stuff has happened, but nothing like absolutely insane, so I will kind of keep y'all posted as much as I can, but I'm just gonna start reading and we'll go from there. This is really quite random, but I still cannot get over these illustrations. Like, are you kidding me? This is so freaking stunning. And why do I want him? Look at this, like, little, I want him. These are called axe hounds. They're one of the many little creatures in the story, but I want one. I don't know if I've talked about this specifically yet, but we're back into a flashback of Kaladin and his old life. His dad was a surgeon and he was apprenticing him to be a surgeon and to go to one of the biggest cities and serve people there, but he kind of just has decided that he wants to be a soldier. And so we're kind of seeing a glimpse into his past life and just kind of what he's gone through in his stories and things like that. But I just really enjoy the way that we're able to like get a glimpse into his past and like really understand who he is and where he came from and why he decided to be a soldier and why he ended up in the army. I really enjoy these little excerpts of his past. They're probably my favorite chapters, honestly, but they're really good. I keep forgetting important updates, but another update is Shallan. I think I told y'all this earlier, but basically she was seeking out Jasna to be her ward so that she could steal, I think it's Yasna actually, her soulcaster and then bring it back to her family to save their wealth, because basically soulcasters could make like mineral deposits and they could sell those minerals and make money out of it. If y'all don't remember, the soulcasters are basically able to use Stormlight to make anything out of nothing or make anything out of another substance. It just depends on your ability with the soulcaster. She was gonna steal Yasna's soulcaster, replace it with her father's broken one, and then go back and bring it to her family, but she actually stole it and Yasna has not noticed. I'm getting nervous, but that was another update that I meant to tell you guys because it was a really big deal and it gave me the most anxiety in my life. Like, it was actually kind of really terrifying. Hello, it has been several days and I have not filmed, but I finished my first 1,000 page book by Brandon Sanderson. Y'all, there are actually not enough words in this universe for me to describe how incredible this book was. I'm filming this after editing the entirety of the video except for this little last outro, so I was kind of going through and seeing like what I've told y'all and what I've not, and I honestly haven't told y'all like a lot of what happened in the book, so I'm really glad that I was able to keep it like kind of short and sweet and simple so that if y'all want to read it, it's not like spoilers. I don't really know why I didn't really film that much of me reading the last 200 pages. I just got really busy this last week. I had 2 tests, I had a lot of auditions, I had just like a lot going on. It was just honestly a really tough week for me emotionally and physically, and I just did not want to film, but I was still reading the book. But I feel like I've done a really good job of keeping this video like spoiler free for the most part, so there's just a couple little things I told y'all, but y'all have no idea like what happened to all these characters in the end. I am hoping that this video has convinced y'all to read this book because it is absolutely incredible, but I've just always wanted to read a 1,000 page book and really challenge myself and force myself to read it, and I am so proud of myself that I got through this. I am so proud that I was able to stay focused and like keep reading it, even though it literally took me like 3 weeks to read this book. Like, I still did it and I am so proud of myself for that. This was a video over many days, but I hope y'all enjoyed. It was really kind of all over the place. There's a lot of things that I didn't tell y'all, or a lot of things that I cut out actually because they were a little bit too spoilery, and I don't want y'all to like know everything that's happened because I'm really encouraging you guys to read the series. It's so good. It's so good. I just think Brandon Sanderson is like the biggest fantasy genius out there. Like, he is the best writer for fantasy books ever, and I am so firm in that. And if y'all haven't read one of his books, you need to, because it's like on a different level completely. Thank y'all for coming along with me on this crazy journey, this crazy ride. This was actually really hard. I'm so glad that I was able to challenge myself, and I'm so glad that y'all were able to come along with me. I'm just really proud of myself for like doing this, and I'm really proud of myself for making it work and finishing it and filming this video, because I've actually been wanting to film this video for a hot minute. I love y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope, you know, this has convinced y'all to read this book, and if it hasn't, then at least read one of his other series, especially the Mistborn series. It's insane, but it's not as daunting. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Sorry for this video being so crazy, and sorry for me not filming as much as I wanted to. I've just been really kind of in a rut emotionally. I'm just kind of trying to figure everything out, but the ending of the book was
insane. So y'all just have to read it. Like the ending was, it was so good, but I don't want to say anything because I need y'all to read this like ASAP. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.